Well, I don't know poetry. I cannot sing or play guitar or do even half a good job as Tasha or Ryan did in their speeches. But for me, it's a true pleasure and honor to be here. Many of you don't know who I am, and I don't think you got my introduction. I serve on the Sonoma County Board of Supervisors and represent this district here, the 5th District. It's funny when I ask people, well, do you know what a Sonoma County Supervisor does? They say, well, you supervise. And then I say, okay, well, what do I supervise? Well, the county. But needless to say, if I could just share a little bit about me and why your program is so important to me. I'm a Roseland, I was a Roseland student. And I grew up on the 900 block of Sunset Avenue, right behind the school. And when I was 10 years old, my family moved from Roseland over to West 9th. So I grew up in this community. I know this community. But the impact that you make on the kids, the impact that you make on this community, and the impact that you make on this nation, I think we feel sometimes 10 or 15 or 20 years after. To think that one of your students, whether it's at Roseland or Bellevue or Meadowview, will be a county supervisor at some point, will be a city mayor at some point, will be an executive director of a nonprofit, can potentially be the governor of the state. I think that is a true testament of the work that you do. I am forever impressed by your commitment. I am forever impressed by your desire to make an impact. And specifically in this area and the schools that you work in, those kids probably need it the most. I'm going to share just one story with you guys that I think will really encapsulate the true difference that you make, not just for those kids, but quite frankly for policymakers like myself. Being the youngest member of the board, I was elected to the board at 27 years old. I'm the first Latino to serve on the Sonoma County Board of Supervisors in its 100th in the history of the county. But being the youngest member of the board, I get invited to go to schools throughout the county, not just in my district, in West County and in Roseland, but throughout the entire county. And that is one of the things I do not say no to have an opportunity to talk to kids, whether it's in English or in Espanol. I'm an English language learner. My first language is Spanish. And I know that many of the students you work with, their first language is Spanish too. But thanks to your work, you guys are giving them hope. So I get a chance to speak at different schools. And I remember one of those opportunities last year. I was speaking at Comstock Middle School. And for those of you who know where Comstock is, it's in a tough neighborhood, Apple Valley, Papago Court. And so I'm sitting there in a suit, and the kids are looking at me and like, well, you don't know my neighborhood. You don't know growing up in this tough environment. And one of the young ladies says, well, Mr. Supervisor, I have a question. So she says, okay, Mr. Supervisor, you come here in a suit, telling us about hard work and dedication and really the long-term benefit of an education. Have you ever been to juvie? Have you ever been to juvenile hall? Was her question. She wanted to know my street cred. Do you have the street cred to come here and talk to us about our own future? And you guys might get that too. And as serious as I could, I looked at this young lady and I said, yeah, I'd been to juvie. And the room fell quiet. Because I could imagine they were thinking, holy smokes, our county supervisor, dressed in a suit, who oversees a $1.2 billion budget, 26 departments, 4,000 employees, has been to juvie. I then told them I was there on a tour as a county supervisor. And they laughed. They thought it was the funniest thing they'd ever heard. But then I followed up that it was probably the saddest day that I've had so far in my 29 years. Going to juvenile hall and seeing our boys and girls are at Sierra Youth Center. They're seeing some of these boys, essentially structured lifestyle. They're in the halls, don't have much freedoms that some of the other boys and girls have. And then we went to the main modular. In the main modular, there's 20 beds in the main modular, and it's primarily kids that have high violent activity or are either in gangs. And of the 20 beds in there, I asked our chief probation officer if I can go see some of these boys. Bob says, well, go at it. So as I walk into the main modular, the detention facility, it says there's 20 beds available. There's 19 names on the list. And of those 19 names, 18 of them are Latino. Garcia, Mendoza, Lopez. And my heart sunk. Being Latino myself, I was shocked. So I asked Bob if I can walk up the stairs and see some of these boys. He says, Efren, you're the boss. You can do whatever you want. So as I'm walking up the stairs, and I'm looking through this little window of that door, 4-foot by 6-foot room, hard bed, toilet, sink. As I'm looking through that window, I'm not seeing Jose on the other side, or Johnny on the other side. I see a reflection of myself. And I think to myself, what is it that I'm not doing right to give this child, this youth, this teen, the opportunity that I had playing sports, of learning arts, of graduating high school, going on to college, experiencing this open space in this county. And it was simply a reminder that there is more to learn, there's more to do, and more to achieve. So as you celebrate your graduation, and all the successes you've had through the AmeriCorps program, and all the successes that you've planted, and all of the kids in these school districts, don't forget that there's more to learn, more to do, and more to achieve. So on behalf of the Sonoma County Board of Supervisors, I come here to honor you, to commend you, and to thank you for making my job that much easier.